Breaking news on HQ. It's coaching news and a coach staying put. Our Matt Norlander reporting that Mike Boynton is signing a 7-year extension to remain with Oklahoma State. He's been the coach there the past 4 seasons. He's a disciple of Brad Underwood, who he coached under at Stephen F. Austin and Oklahoma State. The Cowboys had a really good season this year with Cade Cunningham, the likely #1 overall pick, but they fell in the second round of the tournament to Oregon State. The Beavers playing for the Final Four tonight. So Mike Boynton sticking around at Oklahoma State. He was a rumored coach for some other jobs that were open, but Oklahoma State is keeping him, according to Matt Norlander, who is going to join us now from the bubble in Indianapolis. Matt, what more can you tell us about this extension?
Well, 7 years, $3 million annually. I'm told by sources Boynton is signing it today. The school will announce it later on Monday. And with this, it's significant. Boynton was contacted, I'm told by sources, by multiple power conference programs that had openings just to gauge his interest. Never came, particularly close to him leaving Oklahoma State, but for a few weeks now, power conference schools had been reaching out to Boynton and his representatives just to see if there might be an opening there. Because of this, Oklahoma State was given a postseason ban for 2021 that the school is still appealing. So, of course, they played in the NCAA tournament. Now, the appeal will be heard in the coming weeks or months, and we'll ultimately know whether or not Oklahoma State is going to be banned for 2022 if it loses its appeal. Because of that, Chris, there was just curiosity if Boynton might say, well, if this is going to set the program back a little bit, might there be another option for me? He clearly decided that wasn't going to be the case. Confident about the roster, the situation there, ban or no ban for 2022. And there's one other piece of subtext that I think is important to understand with all of this. Boynton is a South Carolina alumnus. He played there. And behind the scenes, there had been scuttlebutt for a couple of weeks over whether or not Frank Martin in South Carolina would part. And if that were to happen, I'm told Boynton absolutely was South Carolina's #1 option. But that is not happening. South Carolina is going to retain Frank Martin with 2 years left on his deal. And so here we are. Oklahoma State keeps its coach. And there will be no Cade Cunningham on campus next season. He is probably going to be the #1 pick, but Boynton stays in Stillwater and keeps the consistency going with Oklahoma State's program moving forward.
This was Boynton's 4th season. He was not at 500 or above 500 in any of his first 3 seasons there in the Big 12. Why did Oklahoma State feel so confident that Boynton was the guy to lead this program into the future?
I'm told it's in no small part because of how well regarded he is by all of his players. I'm told that there are a number of quality transfers in the transfer portal that have been contacting Oklahoma State because they have high interest to go play for Mike Boynton. I'm also told that Boynton, not only his presence in the locker room, his leadership ability, and him being out in front of the social justice causes, equality across the country in all walks of life. Boynton was the only coach who every single game this year, once he received the NABC towel with John Thompson's image on it, he wore it over his shoulder for every single game because it's something he has a high passion for, a deep respect, and wanted to pay homage to the late, great John Thompson Jr. And so things like that have really made Mike Boynton a high-profile coach in the Big 12. Nationally, and Oklahoma State clearly feels that this is the guy that they want for the long term to get them into the NCAA tournament on an annual basis and be able to eventually make deep runs. They fell short because they got knocked out by Oregon State, which is not uncommon in this year's NCAA tournament.
Wild tournament, that's for sure. Matt Norlander joining us here, confirming and breaking the news that Mike Boynton is signing a 7-year extension with Oklahoma State. Much more from Matt Norlander and Gary Parrish when you follow the Eye on College Basketball podcast.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.